Hey, hey, yo, and welcome to the AWO Journeyman podcast. I am JD, the Carlton fan who had a nice, relaxing weekend where I didn't have to worry about any form of football. Joining me, as usual, is Nate, the Collingwood fan who is back on top of the world. Got to see his Pies win in a very close game this afternoon. Nate, how you doing?
Still alive, but barely breathing. I should be used to it by now.
Is that a song?
It is. The script.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. God, 2010?
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier. And joining me as well is Maso, the Freo fan, who is well and truly back in the vortex. How you doing, Maso?
I didn't hear no bell.
You're both just giving me random quotes at the moment. Next week, I'm going to have to come in with like that as well. That's a good way to start. Well, boys, let's talk some footy. I didn't forget Thursday night this week. I had tipped full.
Jeremy Cameron forgot Thursday night.
Oh,
This is why I shouldn't sip early.
It's okay.
Yeah. Oh God! Please do a spit take.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll get into Thursday night. Geelong versus Demons. It was 11-12-78, played 8-15, 63. Geelong by 15 points in an inaccurate affair, as to say the least, from Melbourne, to say the least, where it just felt like they just couldn't get on top of the Cats. They were just too strong down at Goomba Stadium. Hey, did you guys notice? I'm just going to go straight into. Did you guys notice there were seats? They're finally putting some seats in.
Stage 4.5 development now.
4.5.
That's what we call it, Goomba. Once it's fully ready, we call it GMHBA, but we're just going to keep it at Goomba.
I mean, I don't know. I like the Goomba Stadium, but no doubt. I mean, I think it's hard to doubt Geelong. I think you've said it a few times, Nate, is once Geelong have that one loss down in Geelong, it's very rare to see them lose again. And that's what it just felt like on Thursday night. They just felt like they were on top of it the whole time. But yeah, the big story coming out of it was Jezza Cameron. Good to see him up and about on the Friday, but yeah, he was out of it. That was a very long time to get someone onto a stretcher, which is never.
Minutes?
Yeah, it was, I think, 5, 6, 7 minutes. So it was a decent amount of time. But yeah, it was also the time that we've seen the replay come up a few times now. How this year, discretion. Oh yeah, no, we ain't going to show that replay. No, Jeremy Cameron getting bumped in the head. Yeah, let's show that 10 times. Fucking Channel 7, absolute savages. But yeah, this was just a game where it felt like Melbourne were in it, but just couldn't get on top of Geelong, and Geelong felt like they just was steady the whole time. What do you guys think?
Story time. I don't remember this.
I love it.
When it happened, my dad texted me going, "That's a Nathan knockout," because I've been knocked out the exact same way. Not on impact. It's one of those clipped ones where you're just out for 5 minutes. That's exactly what happened with me. That's why I was a bit queasy seeing Jeremy Cameron get knocked out like that, because it wasn't anything impactful. It was just out like a light. He was out probably 2 or 3 times before he hit the ground.
Oh, big time. Did you? How did you? So was yours by a teammate as well?
No, mine was a guy tried to bump me, but he's just gone a bit overboard and he's clipped me in the jaw, and that's enough to just knock me out. Yeah.
I mean, it's enough to knock anybody out. Shoulder to jaw is not a combination that should go together, to say the least.
Well, Gary Rowan's shoulder to Jeremy Cameron's jaw.
Oh.
That's even worse.
I actually felt pretty bad for Gary Rowan, but it came out that he pretty much was told by Jezza when he went over to apologise. He goes, yeah, I don't care, just go and win the fucking game. So, yeah, good on Jez. I mean, mind always on footy. And to be fair, Gary Rowan had a pretty solid performance, 3 goals too, and he was pretty crucial in the win against the D's. But yeah, the D's sort of floating back around towards the vortex.
I hate the vortex.
I mean, that's because you're smack bang in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they just to clinging on to life in the top four. But also, we've said it a few times, there's just no team that really wants to get themselves into the top four either. So the D's sort of could be counting their lucky stars because they could have been out of it come the end of this weekend. But lucky for them, they found themselves into it purely based on other results.
37 premiership players played on Thursday night.
Is that a record?
I think that is a record. Melbourne 2021 and then obviously Geelong last year. So I think there was 9. Hang on. Yeah, 9 players have not played a premiership on Thursday night.
That's a lot of premiership players in one team.
Who do you guys think was Geelong's best player? Do you think we go with Gary Rowan or?
Yeah,
because I thought Tanner Bruhn played. As weird as it sounds, I thought Tanner Bruhn played his best game in the midfield.
Tom Stewart was also pretty solid, except for his little dog act that everyone called him out on. Was it who was that on?
I was on. Yeah, that was on Viney. Nothing too malicious. Just
he just pushed him over.
Simple push. It wasn't Selwood on Selwood push.
People were blowing up, mate. People were losing their shit over the fact that he pushed him. People were like, he's a dog. He shouldn't be. He's an absolute dog.
Oh, he's from Frankston, so
what do you expect?
Definitely a dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a few solid players they had. I mean, Tatkins and Blixarves, they were pretty good.
Yeah, that as well. I guess mid-season review for them. What do you think, John?
So, my mid-season. So, as I said, I've got a grade. Best way to put it before I go on, I've got a grade for each team and then a one word to describe each team. So, for the Cats, I've given them a D this year. This is all up to this point. It's purely just based on performance, not based on last year or anything like that. And I just wrote hangover as the one word to describe them. When you find yourself sitting ninth at this point of the season, I'd say you've got a hangover. But who's to say that they're not getting over that hangover?
Especially when you're old as well, a hangover's not that good.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, and the D's, I gave them a B. To be fair, second lowest of the top 8 that I have. I just wrote shaky to describe them. It feels like even to know when they're in the top 4, they just feel they felt shaky it's at different points of the season. They've had games where they absolutely dominate, and then games where they just feel off. Like it never really felt like they were going to control the game on Thursday, and that was just a perfect example, I think, of their season up to this point. Just some games where they should. Yeah, they really could have found a way to win on Thursday, but just didn't. So, shaky is the best word to describe them up to this point of the season.
No, that's a very good word to describe them. They're a team that can finish top 4 still, can win a premiership from 4th spot. They can be knocked down straight sets again. We just don't know with them.
No, they're going to be an odd team, I think, for most of the season, probably at this point. So, but more than likely will finish top 4. And could be still feel shaky that entire way there. Because I just feel like they're not on the level of some teams. And to be fair, Geelong at their best are still, realistically probably a top 4 side. So that's why, that's the word I use to describe them. But we'll move on to Friday night football with St Kilda hosting the Lions at Marvel Stadium. It was 8-8-56, played 12-12-84, with the Lions getting up by 28. Did you guys get the feeling of this, that like St Kilda never really felt like they were in it? Like maybe for the first 10 minutes, it felt like a bit of a competition. Then it was just Brisbane on top and just dominance from there. Like you look at the score worm and it is literally just because they really did control them for most of this game.
Oh, I disagree. According to Cooper Gretsch, they were in it.
So getting outscored in every quarter. Because they did. To be fair, mate, they didn't even junk time goals. They junk time points because they still got outscored in the last. They didn't. Sorry, and that's purely based on points. So
I think it was they kicked 19 points on the siren or after the siren. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter was after the siren, and fourth quarter, Charlie kicking the goal on the siren. So yeah. But
who voted St Kilda? Like, what the hell?
I think the Marvel thing.
Based on Melbourne, that's purely it.
It's Brisbane are good at Marvel. They're not good at the MCG.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said to my mate as well. He's like, "Nah, Saints will win." Blah 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 blah. I was like,
Give it to him.
No. They're slow in their shit, and look what happened. They got beaten by the faster team. They cannot handle pace. Oh yeah, they just demolished them. They just out the back goals whenever they wanted.
Could have been worse. They were poking holes in St Kilda's defence the entire game.
Yeah, they were finding their way over the line, I'd say.
Yeah, because they
wasn't
all of them. Yeah,
it wasn't Port Adelaide just destroying the zone. It was just Brisbane were just picking holes throughout. I think it was 20 plus marks inside 50 for Brisbane. And even if it wasn't attacking style of footy as well, you had Harris Andrews taking shit marks down back. The great wall of Brisbane.
Mate, they were calling for it too. They wanted that extra mark because he was about to join the club that two other players have joined this season. Oh, actually, sorry, I shouldn't say joined because Liam Jones has done it twice. So Liam Jones did his second one this season. And, of course, Darcy Moore got his earlier in the season.
Charlie Ballard. Yeah.
Charlie Ballard, yeah. Was there three this season?
Yeah, and Harris Andrews dropped a few. He dropped a few as well, Harris Andrews.
He had his chances.
Yeah, but St Kilda become the most boring team to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, they're up there. I mean, I'd still say there's a few teams that could be. I mean, there's a game that. I mean, I don't know if it might be more entertaining for the fact that they're losing by so much, but we'll go into that a little bit later on. But potentially, I mean, I hate bringing them up in an off week, but potentially Carlton down there with some of the more boring games. But yeah, you're probably right, especially for a team that's pushing the top four. Not exactly exciting games to watch every week for them.
No, but this game for me, this is a big call, and my big calls don't go anywhere. But I think the top four is locked. The top four is locked. I think Melbourne's still shaky, but I don't think anyone's going to go into the top four at this stage. There's no way St Kilda, Essendon, or the Dogs, or even Geelong are going to cockroach their way into the top four. I think it's set in stone.
It's funny because it's just the bottom half of the eight that we're now going to work out because everybody is vulnerable as all hell. To be fair, though, Jack Sinclair, he's in some absolute great form this season. He had 36 disposals, 1 goal, 1. He was just solid all night. But so was Josh Dunkley as well in the opposition. To be fair, I would actually like to bring something up because you brought up Lachie Neale's tattoo that he's got. I had not seen it properly until Friday night, like up close. Like it's just weird. It's a weird tattoo, and I'm going to argue that he is playing worse with those tattoos. So
no, he's actually. I disagree. I think he's playing better with the tattoos.
He's going up. He's going up in form. No, he's going up in form with his 90s wrestler tattoo.
No, I'm gonna. Oh God, it's so bad. It's like one singular tattoo. Just do some more shit with it.
He's got the Bob Holly tattoo.
Oh, sweet Jesus! I was just thinking of like Randy as well when Randy had the single tribal tattoo as well.
Oh, that thing was horrible.
Remember when Randy used to come out and do this? Make me
Oh, the 2002 days, yeah.
Oh shit. But yeah, to be fair, there was some real solid Saints performers all night, but it did feel more like an accumulation than anything else. There was not a lot of damage done by St Kilda. It was all the damage was done from the Lions, some of the Lions players who, may not on statistic wise had a good night, but it was more so the fact that Lions played well across the board. There was no real passengers on Friday night, whereas it did feel like Saints had a lot of off players. What did you guys think about Ryan Burns getting subbed off after kicking a goal?
Oh, poor bastard!
It's one thing to be like come to the bench after a goal. It's another thing to kick a goal and be subbed off for it.
Oh, he looks shattered.
Yeah,
like that was just one of the harshest things I think I've ever seen. And it's funny, they had at that point they needed goals, and of course they get one through somebody, and then they're like, "Nah, get him off."
Well, speaking of subs, I don't think the Lions needed a sub on Darcy Fort.
Oh God!
Tactically, and it was weird to be the sub in the first place. That was probably a sub that didn't need to be done.
For a little bit there, it gave the Saints momentum. Like they were getting back into it. Also, one thing I brought it up earlier this season with commentary, why the fuck does commentary try to will teams, like say that teams are in it when they're just not?
No.
Like,
you got
yeah.
advice. Please watch these games on mute.
oh god, there was so they kicked a goal with like 3 minutes to go, and immediately Darcy just goes, "Oh, they're not out of it yet." And then somebody just jumps in and goes, "Mathematically, it is possible." And I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And then, of course, thank God the Lions shut the door and kicked the last goal of the game. So, suck it, Saints fans. That's all I'm going to say. It was just like, you're right, Nate. They are a damn boring side.
Now, mid-season reviews for both sides. Go ahead.
Okay, mid-season for both. So, Lions, I've given them an A so far.
Okay.
You'll see. The reason is just consistent. They're a pretty consistent side. You pretty much know what you're going to get out of the Lions most weeks. They've had a few off weeks this year, which is a little bit unlike them, but I'd still call them probably one of the more consistent sides in the competition. And then for the Saints, I have given them an A, and this is purely off of the fact of where everyone thought they may be at the start of the year, especially being just outside the top four still. I've gone defense for them. So, I mean, we can't really deny that. That's what their game plan's built off. It's what Ross Lyon builds everything off. So, and I think statistics won't lie that they are the most defensive team in the competition. So, yeah, those are the word I've got to describe them.
I'd give Brisbane a B for the sole fact they can't win games away from home.
That's fair.
Yeah. And St. Kilda's probably a B as well. That's probably, it's a right analysis for them. But every loss they've had, they've been exposed each time. So I'm a bit worried about the Saints, despite having an easy draw for the remainder of the season. I think they're 8-6. So 5 more wins gets them in the finals. They've got the draw to do it. They've got West Coast next week. So
for the Lions, I reckon I'd give them a B or a C, just because the shit show that they perform every time they go to the MCG. And for Saints, I'd give them a D plus, C, just for the sake of hiring Ross.
Just for the sake of your hatred for Ross.
Oh,
That's it. Now we can go.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Now we can go. Speaking of shit shows,
that's a much better segue.
What an absolute shit show. So I didn't, of course, I mean, I'll preference this with a little bit of story time. I was worked all day for 11 hours yesterday, so I was wrecked. Didn't get a chance. So I was just literally looking at the scores from this and could not believe. Boys, I heard that the Freo game got delayed because there were so many goals in this game.
I think by 5 to 10 minutes.
That is insane. So I'll go into it. 31-19, 205. Plays 5-4-34. Sydney by 171. The first team to kick 200 points since 2011.
Yeah.
Just absolute insanity. I actually kind of want to go back and watch this game purely just so I can have a look at what the hell happened. Like, I'm assuming it was just an absolute demolition. I heard Errol played out of his skin, 3 goals. Heaney, 5 goals, 4. Beat. Basically, he drew with the damn West Coast Eagles. Rowbottom, Warner. There's just too many players for us to mention from Sydney. It was a demolition across the board. What do you guys think? Because it was put down to. Sorry, I was just going to quickly say it was put down to their leaders not standing up, and like their senior players not standing up, and kids that aren't ready for AFL level. So, what do you guys think?
Just get Sydney out of the way. I saw their VFL team play on Saturday morning. Sydney's problem, and it goes back to last week's talk. We could have gone in depth on this one. Is Sydney don't have a next man up. Besides the injuries to key position players, they don't really have anyone in the midfield to step up in case any one of those players go down. The only one I can think of is Dylan Stevens. But guys like Will Gould, I didn't write these players down, but just off my head, I'll go, they're good VFL players. They're just not ready or not good enough for AFL, except for Dylan Stevens and then Tom McCartan returned via VFL. He'll be back in the AFL or the senior side in no time.
Would you argue that they didn't develop Will Gould well enough. Maybe like, and I know it's this sounds like a dumb super coach thing, but it's like, should he have gotten games a lot sooner than this year being his debut?
No, 100%, because I think Sydney was shit 2019, 2020, and that's when he came in. So that was a chance to develop him. And he's in his 5th year, and he's only just got his debut, and he hasn't had a real proper crack at it.
Yeah, so I feel it's a bit harsh for Will Gould because he is someone that came in with a lot of highly touted talent, and then when you bring him into the AFL squad, you don't also let him really get a good run at it. So. But it was good to see Joel Amati play well though. 4 goals for him. I know, and it's hard to judge some of these goals because when Isaac Heaney's drawing the Eagles, it's pretty much sums it all up. And did they do this without Buddy?
Yeah. So how are you going to fit Buddy in as well?
Did Amati play all game?
Yeah, he wasn't subbed.
60% game time though.
Okay.
Yeah, but wasn't subbed.
So pretty much managed as well because he got a history of hamstring issues.
Because that's the shit show. This is the injuries. 1, Tim Kelly. 2.
You can't. Tim Kelly at least was serviceable yesterday.
No, it's not saying that it's Tim Kelly's fault. It's the fault of the front office, the scouting. They're not looking to the future, and trading him in for success has not paid off.
I think the only place that they're looking to the future is like that they have sort of somewhere is they have a ruckman. they found a ruck. I still don't. He's still not good enough.
Oh, I'm with Maso. He's only in there. He's a stopgap ruckman.
Yeah,
like he's a second ruck to any other side. He can't
absolutely.
Yeah, he looks good because of that though.
Okay, here we go. Maybe. Okay, what about the boy?
Yeah,
I know
he gets a thumbs up.
He had an off game, but he gets a thumbs up.
Like they're not going to get better until they get rid of Nisbet. So, but that's a whole different story.
Well, you're going to have to keep us updated on the shit show that's going on in Perth because I'm assuming it is going off over there in terms of after yesterday's loss or after Saturday's loss.
There was not much. There was a bit of joy initially for me watching this game, but then then I turned into the stop. They're already dead. He's already dead. But they just kept going, and this is gonna be it. It's finally set in for the West Coast fans that this is going to be for the next couple of years. I've been perusing around the subreddit each week now.
Perusing.
And it's getting worse each week. The morale over there is bad.
As it should be. So even in Carlton's worst time, we never let a team kick 200 points. Like, it's funny because somebody was saying, like, what's the worst loss you've seen Carlton have? And I was like, I think it's still, like, one of the first, like, real dates Vicky and I went on when I took her to Carlton and Fremantle, where you absolutely decimated us.
They need a safe word.
Yeah, it's the safe word episode.
Maso wanted to do this at some point this season, but I want to bring this up now. He wanted to go through the entire West Coast list. Because I've written down half the fucking team I want to go through. Because I want a solution-based approach to this because it's not going to happen overnight. It's something to discuss for onwards planning. So I've identified, or not identified, it's on their fucking Footy Wire website, 19 players out of contract. And I want Maso and John's opinion as well on whether these players need to stay on or be delisted or even be traded. So we'll start off with
I'm going to let Maso take most of it, but I will jump in with the points.
So Shannon Hearn, obvious he's going to retire. I mean,
retire.
Now given West Coast fucking board, he may sign on for another year. Fuck. So yeah, Hearn's going to likely retire, or he's going to retire. Sorry, McGovern. I keep him on for 1 or 2 more years, but not on the fucking money he's on now.
No, he definitely should have taken a cut. Like, that is ridiculous.
I think he's going to take a cut.
Mm.
He hasn't re-signed just yet, so that's a big chance for him to take the pay cut. Shuey,
hang him up.
One more
No.
year or make that tough call to
Oh.
retire. Yeah.
Who's gone?
Jamie Cripps.
Oh, sign on.
One more year
Yeah,
or
one
tough
more
call.
year.
to retire.
Jamie Cripps is serviceable.
Mm.
But all right, here we go. Petrocelli, because I think he can be traded for a third round draft pick.
Yep, trade.
Trade.
Well, he was taken pick 38 in 2019 or 2018, or after the grand final season or premiership season. Get some draft points in, package him up, do something in the trade period, I reckon. And someone like Petrocelli would have to be on the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise you hold him, and Cripps would have to retire.
Yeah,
you can't keep both of them. Yeah. Old Greg Clark, it's either delist him because there's no trade value in him. Either delist him or you keep him on for another year and see how he goes. Some positivity. Players who can stay, in my opinion. Jermaine Jones, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jai Cully. Now, that's a tough one. He's on the long-term injury list, but I reckon he stays.
And yeah, he hasn't gotten a fair shake of it, I reckon.
Do you give him 1 or 2, though?
Yeah.
I'd give him 2.
Yeah.
Ryan Marich, mid-season recruit this season, 200 plus centimeters. Keep him on.
Get rid of Jack Darling and keep him.
Yeah,
and
Marich has been looking good the last. I shouldn't say good. Serviceable is probably the best word for these players.
Yeah, 2 goals on debut against Adelaide. I think it was first kick, first goal. So good on him, but he was quiet against Sydney. But keep him on. Let him work with Oscar Allen and Jake Waterman.
No,
he's a depth player, but I'd say either keep him or see what his trade value is.
No, trade him. Yeah.
Now that would be a tough call. Now, players who I think should be delisted, Alex Witherden. The reason for this is you got Duggan, Jaden Hunt off the halfback flank. You may as well draft someone off the halfback flank because Witherden's not doing it.
No.
Now, this one's going to hurt. Petreski-Seddon, he's got to go. He's just... I thought his soul was sucked out of him at Carlton. It's worse here at West Coast.
It's a shame because I actually thought he was going to breathe, like West Coast was going to breathe some new life into him because he was heading back home, and he has some talent there, but they've just absolutely squandered it.
Yeah,
he just shows up each week and gets battered around. I don't know if you've noticed that too.
Yeah, I've seen more missed tackles from him than actual laid tackles.
That's very fair.
You know what's weird? I watched the other day Carlton's win over Collingwood in 2017. He tore Collingwood apart in that game. What the hell has happened to him?
Morale. He's got no confidence anymore. He's just a shell of a former player.
Yeah. Connor West, delist. Isaiah Winder, delist. Luke Foley, delist. Xavier O'Neill, delist. Zane True, delist. Luke Edwards. Now, I've been told apparently he was wasted in the forward pocket against Sydney. Either delist or hold him and try him in the midfield or on the wing. That one's probably a delist. And Jack Williams was subbed off with injury on the weekend. He's 198 centimeters. Now, unless you're bringing in forward depth or trading in forward depth, delist him. If not, then keep him on for 1 more year. But that's just the players out of contract. I'm looking at players on long deals, and I'm thinking, how the fuck did you sign this contract?
Who we got on long deals? Because I'm curious here.
Now, they're not long deals per se. I think the longest deal is Tom Barrass for 2026. Now, apparently there could be talks he could be traded for 2 first-round draft picks. So
wow.
That's a big call for them to make. But
who's trading for Tom Barrass for 2?
Would it be Sydney?
Well, now Sydney tried it a couple of years ago. But now, if anyone wants a key defender, though, then Tom Barrass would be the guy.
Yeah, he is that guy, pal.
He's one of the better players, and I've been saying it for years. But that would be a massive loss.
It's just more two first rounders for him. I mean, you know what it is? It's the contract.
Yeah, and you got to build towards the future as well. Who the fuck is Callum Jamison, and why is he on a contract until the end of 2025?
Callum Jamison.
Yeah,
so.
And I literally got to do a Google for that because I have.
Let us both have a Google here.
This is what we're talking about here. Now, while you guys are doing that, Jack Darling, end of 2025. Now, this is going to be a harsh one. Rhett Bazzo, 2025. He's not AFL standard, unfortunately.
Who is this man?
Callum Jamison.
I've never seen him play.
I just don't know who he is.
Is he the ruckman?
Apparently, he's a blonde-haired ruckman.
Oh, that's why he's on the list until 2025. You know what it'll be? He's a prospect ruck, I betcha.
Right.
Okay, yes, I have seen this guy. Yeah, he's all right.
He's probably a prospect ruck.
All right. Darling 2025, Rep Bazo 2025, Jaden Hunt free agency 2025. Smart man, Jaden Hunt. He's got 3 guaranteed years there. Some sort of leadership, but he's not offering much so far. Brady Hoff or Howe 2025. He's serviceable, but I'm not sure he's going to be there long term. Tom Cole is a premiership player. He's only played 82 games. He's 26 years old, 2025. Campbell Chester, 2025. He's got to get his body right. Dom Shee, 2025. Oscar Allen, 2025. He'll stay there. Tim Kelly, 2025. I think Liam Ryan is 2024, but that's a tough call to make as well. Do you trade him for some draft picks?
You need him. How old is he? What is he, like 28?
28, looks 38.
Yeah.
What about the boy?
Oh, no, you keep him.
No, but has he got? He must be the middle year then.
I think he's a middle year.
I reckon
like
they
2024 sort of thing.
Yeah, same with Elijah Hewitt and Noah Long.
Because you got to keep him. But I tell you what, Freo, if you're looking for a bull, if you could pull Jinby over.
Gone are the days where players will go, oh, I want to go to West Coast. I want to go to Western Australia, but I only want to go to West Coast. If anyone's coming to Western Australia, they're going to Freo now.
Got a good solid 5 years of at least getting picked over West Coast there, Maso.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while though, hasn't it? Outside of Tim Kelly.
Yeah. But
yeah, true, actually.
But this goes back to 2018 when West Coast outbidded North Melbourne to keep Andrew Gaff. Oh. It's giving Geelong ammunition to get Tim Kelly to West Coast, but Geelong having the ammunition to pass on to GWS so that Geelong gets Jeremy Cameron, and now GWS have Aaron Cadman pick 1 and still have enough ammo to potentially split their picks for West Coast pick 1 so that they can get Harley Reid. So, yeah, that's where we're at, unfortunately. But there is some positivity for West Coast as we get into John's mid-season reviews. West Coast have won a game against GWS, so GWS must be absolutely fucking filthy.
I don't know. How early was it? Second
2.
round? Yeah, nah, you can't be as filthy when they're healthier.
Still filthy, given where they're at now.
At least you can sit there and be like, I've got an excuse.
Every loss they've had, they've lost percentage. It's under 50%, and it may get even worse. They got Brisbane in 2 weeks at the Gabba. But this is the worst I've seen any side since Mark Neild's Melbourne, Tarp Adelaide, early days Gold Coast GWS. This goes back to Fitzroy. It even goes back to fucking university in the early 1900s.
It was bad. It was bad.
Right,
I'll get into my mid-season review for both these teams. So the Swans, even to know they had this big win. I'm not even taking this into account. Swans are a big old fat F this year so far. And I think the key word for the Swans to describe is depth. And the reason I'm using that is because their depth has been absolutely exposed this year. And I just think that they're that step off. Do you guys? I know you guys have been having fun doing. Do you guys want to give yours or?
I go D for depth as well. Because of this win over West Coast, they can sneak into 8th spot. I tipped them for 8th spot this season, so they could do it just in a weird roundabout way to do it. But they do need key wins on the road to do it. They got 2 8-point games coming up. They got Geelong next week and then Richmond. So win both those games, they're right back in it. If it's 1-1, we still don't know. If they lose those 2, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah, both teams get an F for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, the Eagles, I have given an F-, and I've got 3 words to describe them. Injuries, disappointments, and because I used to have to cop this for years, relegation. Well, it's just as fair. You want to get, I'm sure there would have been West Coast fans giving us shit back in the day, so there you go. But yeah, injuries is probably the key one there, but also disappointments is pretty spot on. I feel like they've been probably the biggest disappointments of the competition this year. You can't play this type of football in the top league. It's fucked.
Yeah, F for fucked. And just I'm trying to analyze West Coast performances and the way they play. There's no link in the chain effort. There's no run as a group, hunt as a group kind of play. So there's no team chemistry involved. It's something they need to develop for the rest of the season and going forward as well. Otherwise, players are going to be drafted in. They're going to go straight back out.
Let's stop talking about the shit out west and start talking about the gold out west, which is the Dockers winning on Saturday night. 14-9-93, played 9-7-61, Freo by 32 points. Was just absolutely beautiful to watch. You guys didn't tell me you're wearing Dockers stuff. I would have. Oh man.
Yeah, put underwear on. Relax.
Fair enough. Yeah, it was good to see the Dockers bounce back after last week's dismal performance against the Giants. But even better to always watch Essendon lose a game that could have got them into the top 4. So well done, Freo. But as usual, take it away, Maso. This is your domain, buddy.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Pretty much Labrador Jackson does it again. Big cheeky boy Darcy is just give him a blank check and let him put what he wants on there. Pretty much that it. And Liam Henry shut up the haters. And it's brilliant to see.
Did you go?
No. So I was at a...
Oh, you were at the 50th, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the 50th, but...
That's what you were saying, yeah.
Like, literally 5 minutes away from the Oval. It hurt. Ooh, it hurt like somebody's belly there. What was that?
That was me. It wasn't my belly. It wasn't my belly.
When the water goes down a weird way?
It wasn't my belly. It was my throat.
Yeah, I thought so. I know that noise. I make that noise.
I've got to put myself on mute going forward when I drink.
Or you need a mic like me where you can move back at it.
But yeah, it's good to be back in the stupid vortex. One win. One win outside of the 8 again, or 2 wins actually. Because we now have to rely on people to lose, which is always great. That's how you want to play finals.
Yeah.
I can't complain. We haven't been shit house and we're not West Coast, so yeah.
You did have a few injuries this game. You had Alex Pearce go out and Johnson was also out.
Now, apparently now Alex Pearce was a tactical sub, unless there's been something that's been addressed.
It no longer said it was tactical, said tactical all night, and then after the game, all of a sudden on the app it changed to sub injured. So I would assume it came out that, as Maso said, I think they did spot ice on his ankle in the rooms. So could just be a roll of the ankle and was late in the game. And it was pretty much well and truly cemented by that point. But this was another game where they pretty much tried to get, the commentator, again, if you watch it on mute.
I heard that, yeah. No, I heard this one.
This one, it was 4 minutes to go. They kick a goal and they're like, they mathematically could do this. Fuck off. I get that, you're trying to make something out of nothing, so you can, I'm sure it's a ratings thing and all that, but and of course you don't want to hear they get an extra goal for Essendon. But yeah, it was just them trying to get them back into it. But again, Freo slammed the door shut. But what do you think of Ryan? What do you think the year he's having? He's back to his absolute best this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's looking good, that's for sure. Definitely back in form. Looks to have got his confidence back. But that's because he's been allowed to do his thing with the big boys back there, Coxie and Moose, or Alex Pearce.
Moose.
That's his name. It's Moose.
And I get shit for calling Cripper Rick.
Well, yeah, that just makes me think of Pickle Rick. That's why.
Pickle Rick.
I was thinking of Impact Moose.
Moose. Moose.
Well, yeah, no. When he's allowed to do his thing, he's on fire, and He can be Tom Stewart for us.
I'm imagining Alex Pearce doing it
Moose.
with the fucking.
Can we strongly suggest to Alex Pearce that if he ever kicks a goal, just
He probably will.
But this was an off night for Essendon. They just couldn't get on top out west, and it was good. Why couldn't we see a win out west?
Yeah, I know.
We debated whether we go early June or late June, but then my boss told me I needed to stay around end of June. So
and it was the babies getting too close. We went when the baby wasn't due. So, do you guys want to talk anything about Essendon real quick?
Actually, I had a bit about Essendon, but Maso.
Yeah, go on. Oh, well, my mate's the Essendon fan, and he pretty much said that we allowed them to get a lot of uncontested marks, but we didn't allow them to go forward, and they had no answers for that.
That's fair enough. When Wiedemann and Peter, John, you won't like this. Peter Wright kept goalless here.
Yeah, by the
mate, I was furious. They kept saying second goal Blues, and I was like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, when I saw that, kept goalless, I thought John must be pissed.
Well, you can pretty much say that most players play really well in their first game, and then they have that lull in their second. That's usually pretty well backed up by stats. So, fuck me though. God damn.
Moose is just better than your defenders. Sorry.
Dude, that hurt my throat saying Moose the way I was before. I was like, fuck me, that hurt.
You gotta say
Moose.
Yuck. Now, I heard this stat on the round so far. Freo are 7-1 when they win clearances, and they're 0-6 when they lose clearances. That's a bit of a weird one. Kind of like a poor man's Brisbane then, because Brisbane are a clearance team, and that seems like Freo are the same way. Freo just need that third main midfielder outside of Strong and Brayshaw, even though it's a very good duo, probably the best midfield duo in the competition right now.
I'm loving me boys. They're going off.
Sarong's all Australian and Brayshaw's not far behind. As for Essendon, I think they've got a midfield squeeze at the moment. Parrish comes back in, but then Hobbs and Caldwell take a step back. Stringer, similar, even though he's kicking a fucking bullshit goal. But he plays more down forward. And you got Setterfield and Shield to come back in. So what are you going to do with guys like Hobbs and Caldwell? Nick Martin's doing his thing on the wing, sneaky all-Australian on the wing. And then you can't put him down back when you got McGrath and Laverde, Ridley, Redmond, Zerk Thatcher down there. And Langford's the swingman doing everything. So that's a midfield squeeze for Essendon. It's good depth. You got Durham, Menzie, Perkins, D'Ambrosio's not getting games. But this was brought up as well post-game. And it's going to be, just going off Gold Coast and Hawthorn. Hawthorn's about to lose. Teams who have the bye and they come back and face teams who have, already had their bye, 0-8.
Oh, it's 8 now. Oh, yeah, because of Gold Coast. Oh,
and Essendon, lost to Freo here. Not sure if there's much to look into, particularly when there's been a couple of upsets, I guess, when Hawthorn beat Brisbane off their bye.
Oh, fuck.
Carlton beat Gold Coast off their bye.
Oh, fuck. We play Hawthorn off the bye.
So no teams won off the bye directly. So this year, so that's caused a bit of headache. So Essendon have Port Adelaide off their bye, and Freo have the Dogs off their bye. So those two games will probably show whether the bye has been a big curse on teams. But that's enough Essendon talk. I know John's going to go into mid-season talk soon, but I just want to say this. My questions to Jabs: are you nervous? it's happening. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh, fuck yes. God, I hope it does. Okay, I'll give my rating for the Dons first. Up until this point, I'm going to give them a B+. I think they have exceeded expectations, but I would also say they have one of the easier draws of the competition. But my word to describe is great scut. The other one I've got is for Freo. I've given them a C. Real bang-ass middle-of-the-table side at the moment. Could be a C+ as well, pushing a C+. The word I have for you is just questions, because it just feels like we're always left with questions for Freo. Like some weeks they're good, some weeks they're bad. Like I said, it's just you are a smack bang in the vortex team this year. So as harsh as that is, it's you got to start pulling yourself out of it, because it's starting to run out a bit out of time to do that.
I'm a bit different on these ones. I'm a bit harsher on the Dockers. They've been a bit disappointing. They're still figuring shit out though. But 7-7, I expect a little bit more. But Essendon, they've exceeded my expectation. Nah, I'd go with D. But my
that's
word
like
would be
7-7, perfect D. C, sorry.
Nah, perfect D. It's not about a 6-inch, 7-inch, 7 wins. Yeah. But Essendon, I reckon I give them an A. They've exceeded my expectation. Now, why the fuck did I tip them to win the fucking spoon? But no, they've exceeded my expectation. They're in with a finals chance. Whether they can finish top 6 and put themselves in the best chance to win a final, or are they going to do what I think is going to happen and drop out at the right time? Who knows? But Essendon, I give them an A. I don't have a word for them. Choke maybe in round 23 or round 24, but
I can't wait for the end of season review, because I'll be doing the same thing at the end of the year. So yeah, this is gonna be fun.
What did I give? I'd give Essendon a B or an A. Very unexpected year. Brad Scott's been great.
Great Scott.
In Brad Scott, we trust.
Yeah, I think they've just got to do what we've got to do and find that in between of the shitness and the goodness, and make it more good than shit.
Close the gap on your good and worst. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. So for that, I'd give us a D minus. Yeah, D minus. Yeah, that's fair. Once again, like ours is on the worst spectrum in terms of the good to the bad. And like it is very bad. On our best, I reckon we can beat any team, pretty much. Yeah. Any team.
Yeah.
On our worst, we couldn't beat a waffle side. So
I mean, your worst last. I mean, it's fair after you displayed your worst last week. You're a bunch of cones last week.
That's fair enough. You beat Melbourne at home, Melbourne in Melbourne, but you lose to North Melbourne at home.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? So that is what it is. That's what happens when you lose somebody like Mundy. You're going to take a couple of steps back.
I mean, it's true, because it should have been Monday 300 this year, or at least next year. But moving on to the Sunday games, I'm sure you're ready for this one, Nate. 12-10-82 plays 11-14-80. Collingwood by 2 points in a game where Adelaide just couldn't find a goal in the last little 5 minutes, but Collingwood holds steady in quite possibly one of the games of the year, because it was just an absolute brilliant game to watch. What was it like live? Take us through it.
Jordan Dawson had high contact. The Crows were absolutely robbed. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. It was there. The free kick was there. But in terms of best game of the year, the first quarter was I should have gone to Luna Park, because this was a fucking roller coaster, this one. Missed opportunities for both sides. Collingwood got a 5-goal lead. Crows kicked 9 unanswered goals from late in the second quarter, early fourth quarter. And then Collingwood doing Collingwood things, yada, yada, yada. My heart rate was normal. Yeah, for 75. I
was just going to say, it was a finals-like game, it was described as.
Yeah, it's a game that wouldn't look out of place in September. My heart rate was normal for 3 quarters. I'm not kidding. It was at 75, 80. A good resting heart rate at the footy. And then it went up to fucking 140. This was another close one, but this was one where I was just thinking, we're going to lose this somehow. I was expecting a goal after the siren. I was expecting something drastic to happen, but it didn't happen. A few stats from this, not historical ones. Adelaide haven't won a game at the MCG since round 15, 2017. They've, I think, lost the last 8 or I think 7 8 in a row.
Since the grand final?
No, before the grand. They haven't won. This was, so they drew against Collingwood in 2017, then they lost the grand final.
So they haven't won a game pretty much there they've basically gone winless since.
Yeah.
Our stance.
They've lost. Yes, it's the power stance.
Yeah, but they haven't been Collingwood since 2016, and that is a fucking weird one because Adelaide have been good in those years, and Collingwood haven't. Obviously the draw, but I'm loving these close wins over Adelaide. Eat shit, Adelaide. Just cock teasing Adelaide right now. But Adelaide should be very grateful. We only won by 2 points. Adelaide stay in the 8 on percentage. We're trying to keep Adelaide in. We're trying to throw Essendon out. So our grand plan is working along smoothly. But the annoying thing was, as I left, I'm pretty sure Jordan Dawson was on my back because Jordan Dawson was fucking everywhere in this game.
He was. Had the C on him in Supercoach, and it paid off dividends. Mid-season reviews. All right. So for the Pies, I've given them an A+ to this point of the season. There's not much more to say about the Pies other than just my word for them is they're basically excitement. But I've also given them respect.
You have. Thank you.
Yeah. That's because I think respect is the best word to give this team this year. I think they are earning respect from every single fan every week. And I'll be the first to admit it. I was very happy to see Jeremy Howe back out on the park today. Just great to see. Was he rocking like the reverse, like the Zack Ryder, but just in shirt version? One long sleeve, one short sleeve?
I had the Steph Curry sleeve on.
Yeah, the Steph Curry sleeve, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I liked it. I actually rated the look.
He won't have feeling. He won't have full feeling in his arm until next year.
That's mental. Crows. I've given them an A this year. I think the football they're playing is absolutely brilliant, and the word I've just got to describe them is X factor, because that's what I feel like they are. They're the X factor of the competition. They're going to turn up each week with some of the best footy. But they're the X factor this year because I don't think any of us can really predict where they're going to finish. Like you said, you're trying to keep them in the 8, but at the end of the day, they can also fall out of it as of next week as well. So, X factor club for me.
I got Collingwood. They're an A. Well, my word to describe Collingwood, A. Hey. And Adelaide, I've given them a C+. C for close because you just don't know with Adelaide. Flat track bullies, got to get a couple of wins on the road and a scalp against a top 8 side. They got Essendon at Marvel in a few weeks. That's the sort of game they need to win.
All right, so for Collingwood, A+. My word for them would be Maya check.
Mayo, check yourself. Mayo, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
For Crom, I'd go a B. And for them, I'd say cold it.
Wait, what?
I called it.
Called it.
You have called it.
He's not wrong.
So it's good to see him, take it to one of the better teams in the league at the moment. Port and Collingwood, definitely the pace setters, that's for sure. I did not think it would be that competitive today. I thought you guys would walk away with at least like a 20-point victory. But yeah, they showed up and they did not go away, and it was good to see.
My thing was going to be after their game at Adelaide, the game at Adelaide Oval. I had a feeling this was going to go down the wire again as well. These two teams just seem to love to play each other, and I feel like they will get you at some point. Like
they will,
and that's the thing. They're going to get you. Like they're probably the team that's pushing you. Other than beating you, they're the team that's pushed you probably the best this year. So, well done to the Crows. Some good ratings there. They do deserve it. But we'll move on to the final game of Sunday. It looks like having a look. Looks like Gold Coast did basically get themselves over the line. I shouldn't say over the line. Got on top of the Suns and actually started to kick some goals. So 14-17, 101. Plays 5-4-34, Gold Coast by 67 points. The Suns back on the winners list after last week. This is a win that we needed. The Suns needed to get themselves back on track and needed to set up next week as a real clash that can get them. Because realistically, again, they're points and percentage outside the 8. They need to find a way to beat Collingwood next week.
Yeah.
They need to find a way. They do that next week. There is all the belief in the world that they can go play finals. They have managed to set. I still reckon, even to without beating Carlton and really getting themselves into the 8 this week would have been more ideal. But I still think it's there that the game that this is the game. It's happened again. It's against Collingwood. There's no Gary Ablett this time to do his shoulder midway through the game and blow the season for him.
Tuke Miller's done it. Tuke Miller's done his knee already. That's happened. That's come and gone. He's coming back soon.
So unless we see some freakish another midfielder go down, and it absolutely plays out like a few years ago. How long ago was that? Like 2017 or 16?
2013 or 2014.
Oh wow, it's even
Gary Ablett's shoulder.
Less than I thought. Yeah, Gary Ablett's shoulder.
They kept Hawthorn goalless in the final quarter. 14-17 though.
To me, that sets it up even more so, where you guys are basically this is them to get into the 8 if they can push themselves into the 8 based on points and percentage. Anything can happen in this vortex as well.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to watch this game, but at least we got basically got the Suns back on the winners list. Hawthorn doesn't look like they may have brought the effort this week as much. It is hard to go up to the Gold Coast and play in that heat. It is a very dry stadium. But one thing I did notice while watching the game is, and I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but every year it feels like more and more people turn up to that stadium. And it does. They actually do have fans. I got to give them credit. Like, it does feel like there are Gold Coast fans out there. They're not like the Giants where their stadium's fully empty. And every year it feels like a little bit more. And eventually it feels like they will be a very good, a well-supported club in the Gold Coast. Because think about this. If this is what they're getting when they're middle of the table, like, what if they do push for a finals? Hopefully they can get everybody in Gold Coast. Plus, I would like to say I do reckon a lot of Victorians go up to Queensland, and that's probably where it's come from as well.
Mm-hmm. No, can confirm that. I've had mates from Victoria move to Queensland, closer to the Gold Coast, and they'll go to Gold Coast games. Maybe once or twice a year, though.
Yeah, but that's probably where part of it comes from as well. So, good to see the Suns get over the line. Hawthorn probably back to the drawing board this week. Reload for next week and hopefully get themselves back into the winners list eventually, because they're a team that, like we said, the headache is real when it comes to Hawthorn. But yeah, just need to keep finding those wins when they can.
We'll start off. If Gold Coast beat Collingwood next week, we will play the sunny "Yesterday My Life Was Filled with Rain" song. We're all just dancing. Yeah,
I do love that song.
I love the
video.
video.
Bring it back.
But yeah, I think it's good to see the Suns finally pushing themselves up for a final spot again. They're well and truly in the hunt, and this is something like, hopefully they keep this form going. Hopefully it's not just again they fall away. I do think it does say something about this bye, especially if they can get over the line against you guys next week. That's something to be said about the bye. But at the end of the day, we got to get to next week and see what happens. What do you think about going up to the Gold Coast and playing them?
Well, last year Collingwood went up there. They did a come from behind victory over them, won by I think 4 or 5 points. This is similar situation as well for Gold Coast. Yeah. They lost that game last year. It really derailed their second half of the season.
Oh, God.
If they can win this one, Gold Coast, which I feel they can do it, if they can win this one, anything's possible for them.
I completely agree. I'll go into my ratings, and then I'll go into the bye clubs as well, and my ratings for those clubs.
Yeah.
For Hawthorn, I still give them a D+, because purely based on the fact that wins still have to come. Effort can only take you so far. They're still the headache for me. I should have used that as my one word, but I used underrated for Hawthorn. I think they are probably one of the more underrated teams in the competition. We say it every week. You come up against Hawthorn and you're going to have a tough time, most likely. Obviously not today. But for the Suns, I've gone a C. At the moment, I've gone typical, because they have like a book that they follow every year. And it seems like every year it's the same things that happen. Like you literally said the same thing. Like they have the same game last year. They have to win it to get to really make their season, basically push their season to the next level. It's just a typical season for the Suns. So until we start to see what happens in the second half of the year, they're following the script pretty to the T right now.
No, same for me. Gold Coast C, and I'd say typical as well. Hawthorn, I might go C as well. They've exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, fair.
One team that should take inspiration from Hawthorn is West Coast. So look at a young side, a young inexperienced side, and see what they can do. I don't want to give Hawthorn an E rating because E for effort, but Hawthorn C. I am worried about. I am worried about their second half of the season. Still, they're a young side. They will run out of legs. They may have one massive defeat in there. I'm talking 100 plus points, 67 points against Gold Coast here, and they didn't even score in the final quarter. They only scored 2 goals.
Oh, they're going to happen. Those games come.
Yeah, I'm just worried it may happen too often in the remainder of the season.
Yeah, that's actually fair.
Well, what do I give Hawks? Maybe a D plus, C. Just based off the fact of them beating Brisbane when they shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's fair.
My word for them would be Meeky.
Fair. Meeky baby.
Gold Coast. Yeah. Once again. Yeah, C. Yeah.
It's C and typical, isn't it? It's
like,
I've summed it up perfectly. It's
exactly,
a script.
Yeah. It's like I've seen this movie before.
Literally, we've seen it like 5 times. This exact movie, and it feels like it's always against Collingwood, where their season-defining game comes right in the smack bang in the middle of the year.
Or they can win it, but then the Gary Apple injury, for example, it's always the Collingwood game at the Gold Coast that defines their path.
Collingwood, stop doing this to them.
Gold Coast, my word for them would be grass.
Oh, typical.
Grass.
Not just the word, but of course he would say that.
Of course.
While Maso's gone, I'll just do one word and grades for each bye round or bye team. So Carlton, F, and one word, disappointing. North Melbourne, an E or D minus, one word for them, hopeful. Bulldogs, I'm giving them an A. One word for them, kryptonite, because they're due to play Collingwood soon, and for some reason, they just love playing Collingwood. Port Adelaide, A++.
Double plus.
Magnificent for just magnificent. GWS B, surprising, and Richmond's D, comeback. That's their word for them because they're coming back up, but I don't know where they're going to go off. I still don't think they're playing finals though, and I'm not going to waffle on them.
Yep. All right, so I'll go into my bye teams. I have Blues, F, overrated. I think we can all agree with that. They had a very after what everybody said at the start of the year, very overrated. North Melbourne, D, younglings. I think their younglings are starting to lead the way. When you got Sheasel and Wardlow, you got a good little bunch of kids there. I also think Will Phillips is finally starting to come into his own as well. Port Adelaide, A+. I've just written streak as their word to describe them. I think the streak has pretty much defined their season so far. So let's see where it ends. I think it could take them anywhere. Richmond, this might be a little bit controversial. I've got a C-, and I've given them just older. I know we probably disagree a little bit there. I just think that they're looking a little bit older this season. They've had a few good weeks, which probably proves me a little bit wrong. But yeah, they're still looking pretty old to me. Dogs, I've given B-, and I reckon I've given you the perfect word for them that you'll enjoy, Nate, which is allergies. They're allergic to top 4 positions, and they're potentially allergic to the top 8. They're fallen away slightly a little bit, but let's see how the Dogs can go. And Giants, I have a C, and I have surprise because they have been the surprise packet of the competition for me this year. They have been something else, and I think entertaining is also the word I would use for them. I've called them an entertaining little team every week.
I like this orange team.
Starting to like this little orange team. That's what I mean. To be fair, this is their year for me that they're earning some respect. because this is the way that you do it. You win. You go down the bottom and you win. You basically don't get handed a premiership.
Yeah, you smash the living fuck out of Freo.
Yeah, you do what you need to do.
So, Giants, big F. Nah. Maybe a C. Maybe a D. But for them, plastic.
Dying.
Blues, yeah, F. For them, A acres. Little drive-by shot there. North Melbourne, C. Oh, nah, D minus. They've been for them, money bags. Who else we got here? Port, A plus. For them, JHF is my word. The boy. Who am I forgetting? Richmond. Oh, Richmond. Where would I put Richmond? Yeah, they're aging. They're like middle, so it's C minus.
The Dogs.
I don't know. They're like middle of the road for me. They've overperformed my expectations, but underperformed everybody else's. Like, I expected them to be like 10th, 9th, 10th. So I don't know for them. Like, once again, yeah, C plus. Lanky would be my word for them. They got too many tall bastards.
And who exactly is the tall bastard down there for the Dogs?
I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to get at there, Nate. D's, I'd give them a B, and they've been disappointing for me. They've really underperformed in my eyes. Or either that or Port and Collingwood have overperformed and beaten my expectations. But I had them as a shoe-in to win the premiership at the beginning. At the moment, it's not looking like that. So for them, yeah, disappointing. And who's the last name? I keep forgetting them. Oh, it's the old men. I don't know. Like, yeah, Hangover Boys. Yeah, C plus D. What would I say for them? Cats.
Suspense is killing me.
Cats. Shrug shoulders. I don't know. I've got nothing for them.
That's fair.
They're gonna make finals again. Yeah, hangover. Yeah.
I think we can all celebrate. We've all been Geelong this season.
Hey, and considering we've had not many wins, it's even better. Any fucker who actually mentioned that Gary Rowan should get suspended legit can go fuck themselves. That was absolute horse shit. Oh, if Gary Rowan was wearing a Melbourne jumper, he would be suspended. Guess what? If he was wearing a Melbourne jumper, he'd be playing for fucking Melbourne. So anybody who actually thought and genuinely thought that Gary Rowan deserved to get suspended, go fuck yourself. You've been arrowed. Short, sweet, love it.
Let's go break some hearts.
Jimmy Webster. Relax, it's not him. Going at the Melbourne. Joel Smith. Who the fuck is Joel Smith?
Who is Joel Smith?
27 years old. He's been on the Melbourne list for, I think, 9 seasons. Played his 31st game Thursday night against Geelong. Prior to this game against Geelong, 30 games, just 2 goals, 69 tackles. Nice. But this game against Geelong, he kicked 2 goals, 5 tackles. So he's basically doubled his goal kicking tally. Why I put him in, he looks like Christian Petrarca from afar with a thicker stubble. Joel Smith, welcome to the Boys Club.
You remember this, pal? You're a boy in a man's world.
Well, I just love doing the birth dates as well. Because it's just like, it's pointless and it just takes up a little bit of time.
Wait. I'll do it this week. What Freo legend have you picked as your Hall of Famer this week?
Yeah, no.
I didn't know it this week.
All right. Born 22nd of August, 1995, is a former Australian rules footballer.
No, that's very specific.
He was selected
He's almost my age.
He was selected with the first overall pick in 2013. That's Thomas Boyd.
Oh, wait, you're doing it's a special.
The Premiership window, or the Premiership.
The Premiership window, yeah. The Premiership wing. That's what we called it. Special player.
Yes,
I was not ready for one. Whoa. This is a big deal. It's your first one of the season. We both all have one left then.
So, he was drafted by Greater Western Sydney, but was traded to Western Bulldogs following the 2014 season. And in 2016 was a massive part of the Bulldogs winning the premiership.
Boys, get the goal!
Boys, yeah. And then we were given probably one of my favorite freaking goals ever. And I love watching it back. But unfortunately, he stepped away because of mental health injuries. Not injuries. Depression. But out of that, he's brought more awareness to it and shown how professional athletes experience this, which is amazing in my eyes. So, yeah, welcome to the club.
It's Takeshita!
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Was featured in a promo with the BCC on Dynamite where I think he was called Big, Tall and Sexy by John Moxley.
He's not wrong.
I was going to say, boys, I don't know if you saw Punk's promo from Collision, but tell us when he's telling lies, because he was not telling lies when he was talking about Takeshita.
I'm on my Bobby Fish shit. Where's the lie?
Where's the lie? Well, you need that audio saved.
I think I've still got it on my laptop. I've got to upload it.
We need that audio desperately. Where is the lie?
I feel like Bobby Fischer. Always for moves ahead.
Where is the lie? It's going to be more to talk about with Takeshita next week because, of course, being Australian, while pay-per-views are on Sunday, they're Sunday America. So, of course, it's tomorrow that we'll get to watch it. I'm going to be hopefully watching it tomorrow evening. We'll hopefully be able to sit down, watch it with the surround sound on. And enjoy Forbidden Door because it's looking like one hell of a card. Maybe that's one thing we quickly talk about. Was what do you guys think of that Forbidden Door card? Because I know you guys are just as much marks as I am.
Card of the year.
So 9
easily.
Is it 9 or 10 matches plus the pre-show, which is 4?
10 matches. I'm just going to quickly say match I'm looking forward to: Brian and Okada.
Yes,
absolutely.
But also underrated. I reckon I'm looking forward to MJF and Tanahashi.
Yes.
There's some interesting ones. Another one, I was going to quickly say as well, also interested, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
He's waffling. He's just going over the whole card.
And that's AEW, New Japan, Forbidden Door Watch.
I guess we'll leave it there. We've covered plenty of this. We've gone through our mid-year review. We've gone through plenty of different topics this week. We've done plenty of this week, so we'll leave it there. We are the AWO. Actually, I'll quickly put it just before I go. Does anyone want to say anything quick? I know anyone wanted to chime in with the last little bit.
I am sorry for my hungover incoherentness.
You were not that bad. You had a mighty fine week. How it's funny. We should be on baby watch.
Still no bleeding.
We're getting close. It may basically be. I bet you it'll be the week that you just can't turn up, or midway through the podcast you have to run out.
Just sitting there with a little potato in my arms during the podcast.
Just on mute half the time. But we are the AWO Journeyman. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at AWO Journeyman.
Yeah.
Jesus. Give us a like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. And please drink more water. Fuck.
Play PlayStation. Yes.